Alright everybody, welcome back to Mustangs by Matt. Today we have a really special treat. We're going to be installing the VMP Stage 3 kit onto a 2014 GT500. Now I know what you're thinking, this is not a 2014 GT500, but that is. This is David Gore's 2014 Shelby GT500. It's 6 years old, has about 4,000 miles on it. And Dave was the first guest on the Show Car Showcase, where he made mention that the only thing he wanted to do to this kit, to do to this car, was install the VMP Stage 3 kit. And VMP heard about David, they felt for him, so they sent over their Stage 3 kit, and this is how that went down. So I reached out to VMP. I called him up and I said, hey, I got this guy, I sent them your video that I did for you, the parade video. And I said, he's got this 2014 GT500, it's totally stock. So the only thing that he wants is your Stage 3 kit. So, that's what they sent over.
What? No way.
You've got the Ford Racing Throttle Body.
No. Wait, what? Are you serious?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Well, he removes the cover, and I'm like, what? That's like. I mean, it can't get better than this. I keep saying that. You know, it can't get any better after the car parade, then it can't get any better after the 2 videos, and then it can't get any better after this. But I will chalk this up as I'm amazed.
Well, alright, so big thanks again to the folks over at VMP. They didn't have to do this. They could have just said, we feel for you, and thoughts and prayers, but they stepped up in a big way, so they deserve all the credit. And check them out in the link below. They do more than just Shelbys. They've got Mustangs of all kinds, F-150s and the like. They're good people. We're going to be installing the throttle body, the supercharger pulley, the JLT intake, and the tune from VMP. So to install the pulley, you're going to need to get the VMP pulley removal tool. There are other removal tools out there, but this is the one that's going to do as little damage as possible, preferably none, to the original pulley should you need to install it. The pulley pullers that grab from behind can tend to warp the pulley, and then you can't use it again. So after that, you're going to need an impact gun, probably a drill of some kind, a couple of 3/8 ratchets, 1/4 inch drive ratchet, an extension, 1/4 inch drive torque wrench, 3/8 drive torque wrench, 15/16 wrench, a breaker bar, 8mm sockets, 10mm sockets, 13mm sockets, 9/16, 3/4, I had to write these down, 15/16 and 1 1/8, and you're also going to need a T5 Allen key. That is to tighten the bolts, the new bolts on the replacement throttle body. Alright, so step 1 with any kind of electronic maintenance is to disconnect the battery, disconnect the negative battery cable. Then we can start removing electrical connectors and such without risk of damaging anything. We've got the clamps loosened. Now we got to remove the PCV line and the electrical connectors and a vacuum line over here. So this PCV, we just pull this little gray piece back here and it slides right off. For the throttle body, I think this is the throttle position sensor. pull this little red sleeve back, push down, and it comes right off. We're gonna pull this red clip back, push down on this little piece right here, and off it goes. Now we're ready to remove the throttle assembly. Okay. There it is. Got it. We have to remove the factory throttle body. And these are 8mm bolts. Alright. We're going to be replacing that with this much larger unit. This is a 67mm throttle body from VMP, and it's really just plug and play. You will need a tune to run this, so don't.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So now it gets torqued to 89 inch-pounds. We will be torquing this because that is the proper way. A lot of people have thought, well, it's just a throttle body. It doesn't need to be torqued. But you don't want a leak, do you? And if you got this car from Ford without the throttle body, the cylinder heads, the door bolt, whatever, without it properly torqued, you would have a fit. Because I know I would. Alright. I can't wait to start this bad boy. Alright. So before we install the tube here, we're just going to remove the air box. It's not strictly necessary, but it'll just make it easier to get everything in place. So you got this cold air intake side right here. That's just going to pop off. And then this just kind of comes right out. Okay. And of course there's wires on the bottom side that are not willing to come out that easily, but it'll be alright. So we'll slide this into place. Okay. Slide that on there. Alright, so it's day 2. Before we went inside last night, we managed to get the JLT intake installed. We're going to go ahead and hook up all the electrical. It's being a 2014, it has several. Alright, vacuum, and there we go, PCV. This is all 8mm. Doesn't gotta be super tight. We did get a new air filter. This one's slightly dirty. We went with the OEM Ford unit. This joker was $75. Okay. Good. So the next step is changing the pulley and changing the idler pulley. So we don't really have to disconnect any coolant lines for this. We are going to have to move the coolant expansion tank to basically like plop it over here to get it out of the way. But first thing we're going to do is remove this plug right here on the end of the supercharger. It's kind of threaded in there, but you don't really need a tool or anything because it just kind of turns itself. You gotta get a good grip on it, but it'll come out. don't lose this, because I guarantee you, if you go to the Ford dealer and you say, oh, I need a plug for the end of my supercharger, they're going to look at you like you're, you know. Okay. So it's like a Christmas tree plug. So whenever you put it in, you just pop it back in. But, all right, so do not lose that. Put that over there on the thing, please. Thank you. All right, these are all capped on pretty well. And this has got a big tube at the bottom going down to something. Alright, so there, that'll just kind of stay. So what we're looking at down here is the tensioner pulley. So you're going to need a 3/8 drive ratchet, a really long cheater bar, or something just to get some good torque on it to get that belt off of there. Alright, so this is just going to plug in right here. Throw the tensioner on here. Okay. And then just going to let it go. Now we're going to be using the VMP pulley puller. This is the ultimate pulley puller, according to them. So it's threaded on one side and not on the other, and it's got these grooves built in that will match the stock size pulley. It doesn't have to be super tight, this. You just want to make sure it's snug. Alright. Now they're going to take what they call the long bar, I think. So there's a beveled edge and a non-beveled edge. It really doesn't matter which one you use. VMP say that if you want to reuse this tool, it's best to use the beveled edge facing out. Again, these don't need to be tight, but you want to make sure they're evenly threaded in. Alright, so here is the removal tool. This is going to slide into the pulley, and this washer is there to kind of spread the load. And they say to use grease, but we didn't get any grease in our kit, so we're going to just spray some lube on here. Just a little bit, because it's going to get really warm, so you just want to make sure that alright, so the washer that we got with the kit, it was too big to go through this, so instead of trying to worry about that, we just got a slightly smaller washer. Just going to spray a little. Okay. Alright. Whew, that is warm. Look at that. Okay.
We've removed the pulley.
So there we go. So the washer would button up against the end of this right here so that it didn't gouge it. It did its job. Thank you. So the bar and most of this whole kit is just for removal of the original pulley. The installation of the new pulley is quite simple. So we can see here that the original pulley is in excellent condition. There's no damage to it at all, and it can be used again if for some reason that something goes wrong and he needs to go back to stock. He can. Okay. The next task before we install the new pulley is going to be to remove the 75mm idler pulley right underneath all of these tubes right here, all these coolant hoses. And the backup camera, the secondary camera, is the one that you'll be using to see. But, alright, so we just got to remove this bolt here. So that just comes off. This slides out beneath it. There we go. Now, we take that, we toss it to the side, and we are going to install the new one. It just goes right there with the belt in the same place. Right there. Just gonna, can you see? Mm-hmm. Okay, so this bolt is just gonna go right there. This is 13 millimeter. I don't know if I've said that. All right, this is the heart of the system. This is the 2.4 inch Supercharger pulley from VMP. This is the original factory pulley. This is 2.6 inches. And you look at them, you can tell they're quite a big difference in size. This is VMP's factory looking Supercharger pulley. So this is not a new thing for them. They've done this for the last several years, but there are replacement pulleys that look like an aftermarket pulley, but this is their factory looking pulley. So this one is 66 millimeters, this is 60 millimeters, and I believe it's going to give about 2 or 3 extra pounds of boost, and along with everything else we're doing is going to give around 100 extra horsepower, so that's going to be really nice. So this is the pulley installation tool. We've got this threaded insert right here, which is threaded all the way down, and then once we slide the new pulley on, this thread will go into the snout of the Supercharger and will butt all the way up against it. And once that's in, we'll be using the nut and the bearing to push the new Supercharger pulley onto the snout. Alright, so this is just going to slide right there. That's about as far as we can get until we actually start using the installation tool. So we're going to thread this all the way down. It's going to bottom out. Alright. So let's just snug that down. Yeah. Okay. Alright, so we're going to be holding the bolt from moving, and we're just sliding the pulley This is a press fit, so it's not going to come loose. Arch. Can you hold that steady? Okay. You're going to have to hold it really hard. Okay? Well, you might not be able to. There you go, thanks. Alright. The closer it gets to being fully installed,
The harder it gets.
yeah, the harder it gets. But we're almost there. That's it. make sure that everything is lined up. All the pulleys, everything, and then okay. The only thing we have left is to reinstall the plug right here. That's just gonna go right there. Okay. Can you hand me those 2 bolts? As far as under the engine bay, we are almost done. We only have one more thing to do. Why don't you go reinstall the ground onto the battery. Ooh. Here's something. That lights are on. I think that's the pump for the intercooler. Oh, it looks so good, don't it? Okay, that's good. Then it gotta be super tight. None of this will really do anything until we change the computer. So okay. This is the X4 tuner from SCT. It's part of VMP's package, their Stage 3 kit. I believe every level gets one of these. Junk. There's a sticker or something. Hey, here we go. This is the good stuff. So in here will be the adapter to plug into your OBD2 port. One of these is an HDMI connector. I guess this is what plugs into your OBD port. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to go inside. We're going to plug this into the computer and make sure it's got the latest firmware on it. It should work with the car as it is, but if there is something that VMP is looking for specifically, a tuning parameter, and it's not programmed into this, then it won't be able to relay that information. So let's go. We're going to go inside. This is just going to be really quick.
2 hours later.
We've got the tuner updated. Now we just have to plop it in. Alright, so we're plugged into the vehicle's OBD port. We're going to plug the key in and turn it to the on position. Program vehicle. Street use notice. This is not something, I don't know, I clicked it before I saw the rest of it. I don't really know what it says. Turn key on. Turn the vehicle's ignition key to the on position, or push and hold the start button for 2 to 3 seconds. Do not start the engine. Press continue when ready. Alright, Shelby GT500. 93 VMP. This is what we want. Hey, youngin'. I'm loading the tune. Can you open the garage, please?
Sure.
Thank you. I don't know if you can actually see that. Tune has been programmed successfully into vehicle. Turn key off. Done. And that's it. Fire in the hole. spin.
Yeah.
Alright, so that's the installation of the VMP Stage 3 kit on this 2014 GT500. Big thanks to David for letting us do the install, and even bigger thanks to VMP for sending this kit over. It includes their X4, the X4 tuner, VMP throttle body, JLT intake, the 2.4 inch pulley, and a 90mm idler pulley. The install went smoothly. I'm really happy with the final product, and I think David's going to be even happier. We've got one more piece left to install, and we're going to leave that up to David because the owner really should install their own dash plaque. So that's all for this one. Be safe, have fun, and God bless America. Tomorrow, there's always tomorrow. Tomorrow's a day away. A day away, a day away, a day away. In the jungle, the lion sleeps tonight. You are recording.
Yes, Annie, I am.
Annie?
Tomorrow, tomorrow.
Oh,
That's from Annie.
well, okay. I didn't know that. And, you know, then, like it always does, segues into The Lion King. The best Disney movie of all time. And we won't drop the washer, will we? See?